Hello and welcome back to Success by the Numbers, your show to help you understand numbers in your business better and to manage your business by the numbers. My name is Monetizing and I'm your host, and I'm also the CEO of Work on Your Business, where we help business owners to work strategically on their business instead of drowning in operations. Today we have an amazing guest. You are going to meet Ella J. May, who's really amazing. I met Ella on Clubhouse. And I was deeply impressed by the concise content that she was providing and the depth of information in a really short amount of time. So I definitely wanted to share that with you. She is the queen of social. So she helps business owners and entrepreneurs who have an already very well-going business to bring their business into the social media and to monetize social media on top of this. So not just gaining followers, but to have a real monetization strategy behind it, which is, I think, what many people do wrong in social media. So we have her here. We have firsthand information for you. She's an amazing person. I'm really looking forward to introduce you to her. So let's welcome Ella. Ella, good morning to Phoenix. Thank you so much for taking the time because I really appreciate it. I know you're super busy. Just for all the audience, we met on Clubhouse. So that's for those of you who were living behind the moon in the past few weeks, that is a brand new app, which is actually already a year old. And it is really, it's hyping right now. And I think this is where I met Ella. I heard her in conversations. I thought that she gave really profound answers in a very short amount of time. And I was highly impressed by that and reached out. And I mean, thank you so much for taking the time. So for anybody who does not know who you are, could you kindly introduce yourself briefly and share a little bit about your background and your story?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. So basically what I do is I work with businesses and entrepreneurs that have been very successful, either pre-social media or without social media. I help them take all that content, all that copy, all those funnels, and repurpose it into social in a way that connects with their audience and creates a rate of return. And I also have a group program where I take any entrepreneurs that have a service or a product and teach them how to grow and monetize their social presence from the ground up.
So she is the queen of social, as I told you. No, I think this is very important. And I mean, would you maybe share who your typical clients are? So are they a little bit older already? Are they young people? Like on average, of course, there's very different scenarios, but who's on average your client?
Well, for the group program, it's really any entrepreneur, business owner that has a service or a product established. Like you can sell it today, right? And that's where and we've had people come into the group who have like 30,000 followers on Instagram or 200,000 on TikTok. They're just not monetizing it yet. So that's the biggest focus, is using it in a way where you've got something good and you know that if you could get it out there, it would make the world a better place and reach people more profoundly with it. So we give you all the tools for that. In terms of my one-on-one clients, I mean, truthfully, one-on-one, I'm lucky. I don't have to do a lot of them anymore. So when I take somebody on for that, it's someone I really want to work with. It's generally someone who's been they really don't need social. They've been very successful. They might already have a following by default, or they have absolutely nothing because they just haven't paid any attention to it. And this is where I show them, hey, like this is a really cool channel where it doesn't have to be a time suck and take, days of your week. And it can actually create a really cool, an extra revenue stream for the business. And more than anything, help you make an impact. Because that's generally at people at that level, they're really looking for that impact, that fulfillment, because the money is generally taken care of.
Very true, very true. It's amazing. I mean, and as you heard in the lines, she doesn't have to pick on everybody. She can select the one-on-one clients, which is exactly what Work on Your Business is about. And I think you achieved that greatly, to say like you have your business work for you, and you can take the time for an interview like this because you don't have to be totally in your business working 24/7, which is a great achievement. So that's really great to hear, because I think this is what many entrepreneurs struggle with. And I think what you just mentioned is a very important point, like monetizing the social media. I think many people are out for the following and they look at the numbers, but they have no idea what to do with this. So is there like, I mean, I don't want to go into all your business secrets. If you want to work with Ella, please work with Ella. So we're not going to give you all the insights out, right? But what is the main difference? Is it a mindset thing? Is it a strategy thing? What differentiates the people who are just collecting the followers versus the ones who really monetize what they have?
I think this is the reason why I really like working with entrepreneurs and business owners is like, look, they're busy. And I feel like we've had a very big shift where it's not really all about the numbers anymore. Like any brand knows they'd rather partner with the person that has 2,000 followers and a 21% engagement over the person with 2 million followers and a 0.05% engagement. So when it comes to that, like I think the biggest thing is you really have to look at it as a vehicle to reach the people that need you. There's a certain amount of like not really caring, like not caring if someone doesn't agree with you, being okay if some people unfollow you. You're speaking to the audience you want, not the audience you have. And if like your friends and family are going to give you side eye here and there because they see you doing all these videos, well, that's cool. They can unfollow you, they can mute you. Like it's not for them; it's for the people you can help. And I think when you've got that mindset and when you're just like, all right, I know there's somebody out there who needs me, wants me, would remortgage their house to work with me, but they don't know I exist yet. And that's the problem. Then it all changes. Like it's just you're coming at it from such a different angle rather than like, I hope they like me.
Yeah, awesome. What I heard beneath that statement is the word of authenticity, right? Is that what people are looking for? Authenticity?
I mean, we've always been looking like, it's not that's not a new thing. I think we've always been looking for that. I think it's harder to find nowadays because we're buried in information and striving for wisdom. Um, so yeah, no, I think that's always what we've been looking for. And I think that's what's really going to create that human connection, which like social media should be social. Like we want to see humans on there. Right. So the more that you can open up and let your audience in, the more they're going to trust you because it's kind of, excuse me, it's kind of like a friendship. Like if we, let's say we both lived in the same place and we were best friends and every time we hung out, you were just like, oh yeah, things are good. Here's where my business is at. I'd be like, hey, but how are you? You'd be like, yeah, things are good. Like it's like what? Like I don't even know you, right? So it's like think of it like any relationship where like I'm learning about you, I'm relating to you, all of it.
Awesome. I have to smile so much because I just had to think about a story I read, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not really sure if it was in Japan or in China, where there was a person really like, I think she was doing YouTube or Instagram videos, and they were using filters like so bad. I had no idea this is even technically possible, but there was like a beautiful woman all the time in the picture. And then one time the filter didn't work and it was a guy. Nobody knew it was not a guy because the filter was so good. And everybody thought they followed this amazing, beautiful top model, and in fact, it was a totally different person. So I think this is where you see. I mean, we know this with Instagram, like all those hype pictures and everything looks so fancy. But I think what really people what they connect with is really the story behind. Like, how did you get there? It's nice to see that picture and everything, and everybody envies that. But I think the true connection really comes by taking people on a journey. Like, this is where I started and this is where I am and these are the steps that I took to get there. And I think this is what people can relate with. Do you think that this is why Clubhouse is at the moment so hyped and why it is so because it's so raw? I mean, you only have audio. So for anybody who doesn't know Clubhouse, it's audio only, no pictures. I mean, you can of course link an Instagram account to message because there's no messaging currently inside, but it's practically only voice. And it's real time, so you cannot prepare your answer. That's why I really was impressed by you, because like you cannot expect the question that comes up. It's just like real time, and then you have to respond to it on the spot, and you have to really know your subject, otherwise you cannot give a profound answer. So do you think that this is why the platform is so hyped at the moment? And do you think it also will last, or do you think that this is just right now and it will go down? Or how do you see Clubhouse in the thing of social media?
I think it's gonna last, or if it doesn't, one like it will. I've been thinking for a while voice is gonna make a comeback. We had a huge switch to text for like 8 years there, where everything was written, like on social media platforms. And I've been feeling for a while that voice is gonna make a comeback. I think it's primed really well, the fact that we're in COVID right now, and it's creating a lot of connection. I think it's humanizing a lot of people. Like we have a lot of celebrities and really famous entrepreneurs on there that have become very human on there, because you're hearing them at home with their kids screaming and you just hear a different side of people. And I would love to know, like, what answer do you remember, what answer you heard? I don't even know.
Wow,
Like
this is
that
already like
day?
4 weeks ago. I heard you in so many different aspects. I think the very first time I heard you, I think it was the how millionaires can help other millionaires. Have you been on
Something
the
like
panel
that.
there?
Yeah, yeah. So I think with Clubhouse, I mean, it's a social media app, right? So it's a double-edged sword. Like if you're somebody who's better with a microphone than a computer in front of them, you could do very well on Clubhouse. If you're not, it could be a huge time suck. So and one thing I try to do a lot on there is, I'm brought up onto a lot of panels on there. Basically, most times that I come into a room. I actually have a separate profile photo that says like just listening that I'll put on sometimes so that if I don't come up, they don't take it personally. But you really need to stay. What I focus on is really staying in my lane. I don't speak a lot. When I do, I try to make it very succinct, very digestible. It's something that person can do right now that would help them in the situation that they're in. And it will reveal, like, we've found some people out on there that are really not experts in what they're saying. So you can't fake it on there, like you said. Like, you don't know what's coming. It's all live. So yeah, you really can't fake it. But the biggest thing I've gotten from it, I mean, I'm not one of those people who's made $500,000 this month from Clubhouse. I don't think I've made a ton. That hasn't really been my focus. The biggest thing I've gotten is relationships.
Yeah.
I've been able to connect with people. Like, I have a call right after you with a gentleman who buys and sells businesses, and we're talking about a potential deal. That's all from Clubhouse.
Mm.
And we've become fast friends. I'm going to Vegas in a month for a conference with somebody else that I met from Clubhouse, which is something I just wouldn't have had access to before because I didn't know the people. So the connections on there, if you're willing to like put in the time and just kind of like look at the relationships you could build, is monstrous. Relationships are very much a currency. And anybody in business, like, I really wish that was talked about more, because we're fed this like hustle, hustle, hustle. And it's like, yeah, you need to work. But truthfully, when your network is going to be so much more valuable than any one client or any one sale or whatever that comes through. And just having access to these people that are 20 years ahead, like, I have people that are 20 years, 30 years ahead of me, and I'm calling them being like, why haven't I figured this out yet in my business? Or like, I don't know, it only took me 12 years, you've been in business too. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess. So it's so good for perspective. And I mean, all of us entrepreneurs are a little bit bananas. So just keeping our sanity. Yeah. So that's the biggest benefit I've gotten from it.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, we would not be speaking right now if not of Clubhouse. And I
Absolutely.
can,
Right. Yeah. Perfect example.
absolutely. And I mean, I think also, I mean, also I can reconnect with many people. Like, for example, I had many people who knew me since years, but I think that
Mm.
they were not really aware what I was really doing, even though we are connected and we see us constantly. But then they heard me speak a few times and suddenly they are like, oh my God, I had no idea that you have so much knowledge about that. Can I work with you? And I was like, I mean, it was not my primary purpose, just like you also mentioned. Like, my purpose was, let me first of all figure out what that is. Like, how does it work?
Yeah. What's going
I'm a
on?
curious
Yeah.
person. I need to
Yeah.
figure out how this works, and then just really realizing, oh my God, I mean, it's not even to, I mean, because some people say like, yeah, but now you're trying to associate with people who are much more beyond you. So like, but those people want to associate with other people. That's the point. I think that most people don't understand. People are always looking to connect with new people, because every successful person knows that your network and the persons that you know is where your real asset lies, and not just how many clients you have or how many products you sell. That's not the key differentiator. It's the access to information and the access to people. And that can only be done by networking. And that takes, as you said, it takes a lot of time. You cannot just work all the time without maintaining your network, because then you are losing out the biggest
No,
opportunity.
can I swear, or
Sure.
will you edit that
Yes, you
out?
can.
That shit crazy. Like, I mean, if you're actually, just so I know, is your audience primarily people who want to be entrepreneurs? New, like,
No, they
what?
are already entrepreneurs.
Okay, so you guys, so you, for the most part, 80% of people listening know, like, it's bananas. Like, we're fed this lie that, like, oh my God, it's gonna be great, and there'll be a beach house, and there's money, and you're gonna have this laptop. It's like, it's total bullshit. Like, you're going down the highway at 100 miles an hour where I have to change the tire. Like, it's craziness, right? And there's good. I mean, I'm not saying it's all bad. There's amazing times, but it's nuts the amount of responsibility you take on. Even, I mean, I don't have a big company, I don't want one, but even just as, working for yourself, if you're solo. So like, if you don't have people, like, our friends and our family are lovely and they have the best of intentions most of the time, but if you don't have anybody in your life who is drawn to this kind of life, who has done what you want to do, I mean, you can love them, but you need to build a tribe of people who think the same way, or else you're going to go nuts. Like you're going to quit or go nuts, because it's something you cannot do it alone.
Absolutely. I mean, I also have a mastermind I meet weekly, and like actually, it had collapsed with one of the Clubhouse meetings where I was like, we have to cancel the Clubhouse meeting because that mastermind is more important.
Yeah.
Clubhouse is
Yeah.
still there when we are finished. They are still there.
Yeah, I'm a part of 2 masterminds. I have 3 coaches at the moment. I'm about to hire another one. I'm always like, and especially when things are going good. When things are going good, that's when I push myself the most to be like, okay, don't ride this, push. Like, what do you need to implement? How could this be easier? How could this be more automated? How
Yeah.
could you be thinking bigger? Because you just don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know.
I also have a lot of coaches. I mean, they get you through bad times because sometimes you're really just one step from success and you are not even realizing that. You just feel like I'm working and nothing turns out. And then like last week I had a day where like in half an hour I suddenly got 5 orders, like big. I mean, I'm working on project basis. They're big orders, right? So suddenly in half an hour, like this one says yes and this one, I was like, what happened now? like sometimes you don't hear something for 1 or 2 weeks and suddenly like in half an hour, like bam. And I was like, oh my God, it's like the best day like in the year.
Right? Like, you're just like, I don't know. Like, what did the stars align? What's marketing?
Maybe.
I have no idea. But yeah, I know totally. You need that community.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, it really pushes you through, but then also to not lose the focus. Like, for example, when this whole Clubhouse thing took off, I mean, I had to also reorganize myself because I realized, like, whoa, I mean, this is going to, if I don't take care, and I think this is where you need this perspective sometimes from the outside, if you don't take care, you're going to damage your business and you're not even realizing it because you're just in the middle of it.
This is so fascinating to me because again, I haven't made a ton. I am not on Clubhouse selling. I really haven't made, I don't think, any money to date. I've made a lot of relationships, but I really just don't focus on that. But I've actually gotten more productive with Clubhouse. And I think it's so interesting that like, again, I'm not like hating on anybody, but I think that, hey, if you're on this and you're noticing that like you're losing productivity, you're jittery, whatever, like get off. You're an adult. Like get off, like don't go into a room that's like Clubhouse rehab, we're all like, and then talk about it for 2 more hours. Like I jumped in one of those rooms the other day to be like, what the hell is this? And this girl was talking about how she had to get a new phone because she didn't want to get off Clubhouse, and she took her phone into an infrared sauna and fried it. I'm like, I don't feel sorry for you at all, you dumbass. Like, what are you doing? Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so. But like, you would need to like this is probably one of the biggest things that I think the wealthy teach their kids just by action, not by words, is self-regulation.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be an entrepreneur or like a successful entrepreneur, you need to have that grounding on your self-regulation and knowing yourself well enough that, hey, this is working for me. Cool. Let's keep it going. Or this is not working for me. Okay. I need to have the discipline to be able to pull away from it. It's a reward. It's a whatever. I'm not saying you like don't go on there. Just you don't do it from 10 to 2 or whenever you need your primary focus. Yeah. But I find it so fascinating with people where I'm like, just what? Like, get off. It's not what you're doing. It's a nap. Close it.
I did this like, I mean, okay, curfew. Now I have to really see, like, I have to reorganize when is my productive time, when do I need time for my clients, and then like after 8 p.m. I can go as long as I want to on Clubhouse because I'm done with all my work, so I can do whatever I want to, right? But I think many people don't have that distraction.
You probably have more fun because you're done. You can be in it. You're not like thinking about other things. Exactly. And that's a perfect example of self-regulation. Like it's not working for you during the day. Cool. Then you go on after this or whatever. But yeah, like if I just sometimes with people when they're just like, oh, but it's taken over my life. I'm like, well, who's in charge of your life? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is not Clubhouse's fault.
Exactly.
Anyways.
I want to be respectful of your time. I really enjoyed this conversation, but I have one last question because I think this is something that many people are not aware, but it happens more often than people actually think of it. Because your profile said that you had a 60,000 Instagram account with 60,000 followers, and it was hacked, and then it was sold. I read this and I was like, whoa! I mean, mine was just canceled by Instagram. Like the Instagram told me like, you are not the person you say you are, and I was like, but I have an ID to prove it. I don't know what you mean. And then I wrote like 40 support emails, but nobody ever replied. And then after 5 months, I could re-register my same account, funnily, but it was empty again. So how did that happen? I mean, this is your core business, so it's really essential for you. I think maybe it's not. Maybe you tell us. But like, how did you how did you find it out first of all, and then how did you deal with that? Because I think this is what many people put a lot of effort in building that, and suddenly it's like gone. And you're like, how do you deal with that as an entrepreneur?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I was like, I don't think we're talking about social media at all. Yeah, so actually I wish it was 60,000. It was at 30, like I had 30,000 followers, great engagement. Again, my goal was never really growth. It was like connection and then a revenue stream for the right people. So what happened was, and I don't know how I got on the short list for this, but essentially hackers tried to get into the account. They couldn't get in because of two factors. So they actually hacked into my assistant's email. Life lesson: put two-step verification on your email. They hacked into my assistant's email, which was attached to my Instagram, got into the account from there, bypassed the two-step, changed all this stuff. And then they held it for ransom for a week. They were like, hey, if you don't pay us this amount, we're going to strip it, we're going to sell it. And I was like, all right. So of course, I thought I would have gotten it back. I would have paid the like $300 they were asking for. But I was like scouring Reddit at the time, and everyone who this had happened to was saying, don't pay them, you're going to pay them and you won't get your account back. So I was like, I'm not going to pay them. And originally they were like, we have 2 hours. So I stalled them for a week, hoping Instagram would step in, because I contacted all my Silicon Valley hacker friends being like, hey, we got to hack these guys back. And they were like, look, we can do like up to this point, but you really need Instagram. So I contacted Instagram, like, like you said, they're a bunch of ghosts. They're really hard to get a hold of. So they didn't step in time. After a week, the hackers still had it. They stripped it. They sold it. It was gone. So yeah, it was. I mean, I had like a little bit of a shock period. I had a couple of days where I was kind of like, all right, what am I going to do with this? And then I kind of thought, well, like, hey, I'm not going to not have an Instagram. Like, I'm going to rebuild anyways. Why don't I rebuild with a group? So I looked at my existing group program, which was called InstaFame Academy at the time. And I was like, how would we restructure this if I was legit, had people looking over my shoulder, building along with me? And I was doing all the things I give to my high end clients in terms of content repurposing and audience connection. So we totally took the group program apart, restructured it. It's now 12 weeks. It used to be 8. We changed the name to Operation Swipe Up. And then yeah, and it's been really cool because I have an interim account right now. I'm going to be building a brand new one with the group. And what's been really cool is, I mean, obviously, this is something I never would have done had the account not been hacked. And it's also, my group program is like phenomenal. Like, the guest speakers I'm bringing, like, I realize I'm really, really good at, I'm amazing at some things. For everything I'm not amazing at, I brought in an expert. So that's like, and that was such a changing point where I was like, this is going to be so good. And yeah, and so really, like, that's what happened with it. And actually, the group program starts in like a week today, actually a week today. So that'll be happening quite soon, where we'll be getting this going. And yeah, like, I'm excited for it. I'm nervous about it, obviously. But I really want to show people, like, hey, like, this is what you do organically, because I won't be running anything paid during the time, to go from 0 to 10K. And I don't expect it to happen in 3 months. I'm banking on a year. If it's quicker, cool. If not, no big deal. I think it'll be a little bit quicker, but I'm saying a year. And these guys will have the chance to like be intense with me for 3 months and then watch the whole process. And I think that, I mean, as business owners, we're always looking for cool ways to like challenge ourselves and bring that novelty in. And this was one of them that just kind of fell in my lap, you could say. And now my account's like Fort Knox. It's locked down.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm just looking at the time because I know that you have a follow-on call.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time today. I think,
Thank
guys,
you.
you learned a lot. I mean, really re-listen to this again. There were so many golden nuggets inside that you can really use for your own business, that you can learn from. Maybe you can really relate to your own experiences because it may have happened to you in one way or another one. I think if we are in business, we all experience very similar things, even though they play out in reality a little bit differently. But I think we can all learn from each other great times. Thank you so much for taking the time, Ella. It's a pleasure. It was a really, really great conversation. I really enjoyed that. I hope you too.
Thank you for having me. No, it was lovely.
Guys, was that not amazing? I mean, Ella was sharing so many great points that you really have to go back and you have to re-listen, because there were so many parts inside, from monetization strategies to, how do you really build a following, an authentic following? How do you really make marketing your asset and to really help you grow your business? So that was so amazing. She's a great person. I also had a chat with her, so she is sharing with you her free content calendar. So I'm going to share that link with you at the end of this video, and also in the comments to the video. So in the notes, you will get a free content calendar that she's providing for you. So make use of that, download it, use it, apply it. She also gave me a link that I can share with you on a free 15-minute call if you want to talk to her, if you want to get to know her, if you want to buy her program, please do so. She is amazing. She really knows what she's talking about. She's highly successful. So take advantage of this. Get to know her, get her program. If you need help in marketing, reach out to her. If you struggle with your social media following, if you don't really know why you're not earning any money with your social media, let her have a look at your account, because she can probably tell you immediately what the mistake is and she can help you fix it. So thank you so much for tuning in today. It was really amazing. We will be back next week with another amazing interview. And until then, please let us know your feedback. As always, tell us how you like it. Tell us what you still want to know. Any questions, we will answer them, definitely. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you back next week. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.